Hi, thanks for joining me today for some more poses that we can do, 5 poses in 5 minutes to keep our self-care going in the short amount of time that unfortunately all of us have. Unfortunately, that it's a short amount of time, but anyway. So we're going to do some poses seated in a chair today. So for those of you who go right from the office to the barn, this is going to be helpful. And or if you work from home and you use at the computer a lot, or you've been traveling and it takes you a while to drive to the barn. Anyway, any of these poses seated can be good. You can also do these with modifications while you're in the saddle when you're doing your walk to warm up. Start with a warm up. So having a chair to sit on, make sure it's a chair that is not going to roll, so no rolling chairs, and sit on it, not into the back slumping down. So we want to kind of walk forward a little bit so we can find a nice length in the spine. Heels underneath the knees, let the hands rest on the thighs, and just find this neutral position, same position you would have in the saddle. Nice length in the spine, find even weight in your sit bones, and just take a couple breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. And then let the hands come down by your side. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, and then bring your right hand down to your right hip, keeping both sit bones level on your seat. I wanted to say in the saddle, on your seat. Reach up and over to your right. So when you're seated like this, you're not as close, your center of gravity is a little higher, so you might find your left sit bone wants to lift up a little bit. So really ground down through both sit bones, a nice stretch in the left side of the body. So this pose, you can do this when you're in the saddle. Suggestion, keep hold of the reins with this hand because we are not going to let our mount go. And then come all the way back up, release the left hand down. Inhale both arms up again. And then bring the left hand down to the left hip and reach up and over to your right. So little lateral flexion both sides. Notice if one side is easier than the other. Just like our horses, we have a hollow side and a stiff side. Inhaling and exhaling. And then come all the way back up, release the right hand back down. Arms again down by your side. Now bring the right hand behind you. I've actually kind of taken my fingers and kind of reached under the seat of the chair here. Think of drawing the right shoulder back. I'm going to bring my left arm to the outside of the right leg, palm facing out, and then just take a gentle twist to your right. So same thing here. If you were seated in the saddle, you would have your reins in your left hand, so you again can keep control of your mount. You can place that right hand on the cantle, back of the saddle, as you twist. Again, think of even weight in the sit bones, both seat bones in the saddle or on your chair. Inhaling and exhaling, keep lengthening up through the crown of the head. Think of the collarbones being nice and wide, shoulder blades drawing towards the spine. And then slowly untwist, come back to center, neutralize the spine, float the arms up and overhead. Exhale, release the hands down. So now take the left hand behind you, and again, kind of maybe tuck under the seat of the chair. Bring the right hand to the outside, palm facing out. That's external rotation for the shoulder, helps to keep the collarbones wide. And then gently revolve your twist to the left. So think of your chin staying parallel to the floor, the ground. We have energy through the crown of the head. You're breathing. Again, you can do this when you're in the saddle too, as long as you keep hold of the reins and you're wearing your helmet securely fastened. Inhale and exhale. And slowly untwist. Again, come back to center. Float the arms again up and overhead. And release the hands down. So now let's walk the feet wider than the chair, whatever you're seated on. You can do this on a mounting block too at the barn. find the hinge of your hip, so just slide the hands right up the thigh, find that hinge of the hip, and then hinging forward, we're going to take a little forward bend here. So just let the hands slide down the legs. Hands can come down to the mat. You can keep the hands resting on the feet or on the ankles or shins. Let the crown of the head release down. And just take a few breaths here. So again, nice forward bend. And with this position, using the chair, gravity's going to help you a little bit, and you probably will have a little bit deeper forward bend than you typically would if you were just seated on the ground and we were doing this forward bend. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice flexion here of the spine. And then very gently you can begin to lengthen through the crown of the head, press into the hands, bring the hands to the tops of the feet if you don't have them there, and then begin to walk the hands up the legs, bringing yourself all the way back up. And again, bring the feet back in so the heels are underneath the knees. Once again, neutral position. Inhale and exhale. Float the arms up and overhead. Release the hands down behind you. So interlace the fingers. You might need to scoot a little bit away from your chair. Interlace the fingers or take hold of opposite elbows. So you can either clasp like so. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, take hold of opposite elbows. Think of widening across the collarbones, getting a little front extension here. Again, we just did a little forward bend. So now a little back bend, little front extension. If it does not feel good for your gaze to be up, you can keep your gaze neutral, drop the chin towards the collarbones. But think of widening across the collarbones and again opening through the front of the chest. Inhaling and exhaling. And then releasing the hands again down by your side. So one last sequence, opening up for the hip. So let's take the right leg, bring the right ankle above the left knee. Flex the right foot, open this knee to the side. So nice hip flexor stretch. So you might say, holy moly, I already feel that in my hip, and absolutely fine, just stay right like that. Think of lengthening through the crown of the head. Feel that nice stretch. You know, your knee might be up a little bit more like this, that's fine, but just find a place where you feel what I call the Goldilocks stretch. Not too little, not too much, just right. If you feel like you are pretty open in your hip, you want to have a little bit more sensation, you can think of hinging forward from this left hip, fold a little forward. Again, that's going to bring a little bit more sensation into that right hip. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, always make sure you're breathing. And then come all the way back up. Bring the right leg back down and switch sides. The left ankle above the right knee, resting on the thigh. Flexing the left foot. Again, right hand can be on the right foot, left hand can be on the left knee. Inhale, lengthen up. Find that even weight in your seat bones. It's going to be a little different with this leg lifted, that knee lifted and out to the side, but see if you can find that foundation. And then just hinge again a little forward if you'd like, and you might notice completely different sensation side to side, or completely different positioning as far as the opening in your hip. Inhale and exhale. And then coming back up, if you fold it a little forward, come back up, bring that left leg back down. Just let the hands again, actually bring the hands down. We'll do one more length for the spine. Inhale, float the arms up. This time bring the palms together and the hands to the heart. Take a breath. Inhale and exhale. So there is a short sequence that you can do before you leave your office to come to the barn. After you get to the barn, if you've been driving for a while, you can do this seated on a mounting block. Anytime if you're traveling, this is you get some looks, but it's a great little sequence to do sitting in the airport while you're waiting for the plane. So anytime that you've been sitting a lot and just need to get the body moving a little bit, this can help. Or if you're stuck in a seated position, some ways that you can move your body. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Thanks. Bye-bye. Have a great day.